vibe one time for your mind.
Welcome to Sunbeast Live. I'm Adrian Valente with Sunbit, and if you're one of our dental partners, you're in the right place. Happy Wednesday, April 29th, and thank you for joining our weekly educational program for trained and certified Sunbit users like you, fellow Sunbeasts, where you're here to, continue your education. Our goal is to help build your comfort and confidence using Sunbit, and that's why we cover different topics each week. We try to switch it up and keep things fresh, and I know a lot of you have been watching us for a while, and we also have a lot of new folks tuning in as well. Of course, those of you that are tuned in live with the Zoom events, you're getting Sunbeast app rewards points as our way of saying thank you. You'll see those deposited within the next 48 hours or so. And you can also catch the program simulcast on YouTube Live, as well as past recordings on our YouTube podcast channel, as well as Spotify, which get posted not too long after the episodes go live. And then, of course, on Wednesdays, we are joined by show producer and co-host. Please welcome to the program, Queenita Brown. Queenita, how are you?
I am wonderful. Happy Wednesday. Happy birthday, Stacy. 20 points for Stacy.
Really? 20? Oh, my goodness. We're off to a strong start. Okay. Hold on. Where's my pen? Are you taking notes?
Casey Jones.
How fantastic. All right. Welcome. Cello chat. Good to see everybody.
Happy Wednesday. Happy last Wednesday of April, which means.
Oh, it's gonna be May. That's right. Oh, I wish I had it queued up. All right, we did it. Fantastic. We're also in the middle of the Elite Escape. Oh, do we have our Hawaii lays? Do we have our lays? Yes, we do. Oh, I got my headband. There we go. Yes. The Elite Escape. It started back on March 2nd. It's running through May 30th. And all you need is 10 Sunbit transactions with your patience in order to unlock 10 raffle entries for your chance to win a trip to Hawaii with you and a guest. The top 15 performers are going, and then we're doing 5 lucky paradise picks. They're going to be joining the top performers. And let's go ahead and grab that leaderboard for folks. I'm going to put that in the chat. You can head over to sunbeast.com/SB Elite Escape Dental. And if it asks for a password, just type in Sunbit, all lowercase. But, oh my goodness. Hold on a second. Diana
broke 200.
Already broke 200. That's amazing. Hasn't happened in auto yet, but it happened here in dental.
It hasn't.
I know. We were talking about it earlier on the morning show.
They're like 20 behind, I think. I feel like their number one was like 182 or 183.
For the past few years, I've been telling the auto crowd, like, hey, dental Sunbeasts are coming for you. Like, it's the second largest Sunbeast group, but it's the fastest growing, which is pretty incredible. Now, there's also your tropical trivia. I believe we are in round 4, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct, Queenita?
4.
Nice.
Round 4, Elite Escape trivia, tropical trivia.
And 5 lucky people are going to win some cash?
Yeah, every round.
Nice. $20 I see on the screen there. Very nice.
Wait, you always take it off.
Oh my gosh. I did it. Okay,
Gosh,
what's the
Adrian,
news? There's news this week.
Put it back on.
I got it back on.
Yes. So sneak peek, guys, at the Elite Escape Getaway. It's official that there is a luau booked for the trip. So one of the activities is going to be a super cool luau at the resort. So,
oh man,
who's ready?
That sounds pretty good. All right, Raina in the chat, love that. Fantastic. In case I didn't get the leaderboard in the chat, let me go ahead and put that in now for folks. But a lot happening with the Elite Escape, and we're really excited. We've never done something like this before.
We've
got a month left. Yeah, just 10 Sunbits, and then every Sunbit you do after that just keeps adding onto the number of raffle entries you have as well. And I also saw some people in the chat talking about sunglasses, so we're going to also find out about that.
Yeah, we reached out about that when we saw it. So we'll follow up with you guys next week.
And with that, if you've been following Sunbit in the news, big announcement with a big platform provider. Queenita is going to tell us a little bit more.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't this
Look
fancy?
at this, you guys. Check
I
us
didn't
out.
have this for the morning
news
show.
With Sunbit. Oh, yeah. We have to
So what's happening, Queenita? Oh, no, you muted. I think you touched the mute button by accident.
Oh, no, I did. Oh,
there we
I'm
go.
back.
We got you back.
So today in the news.
We goofing.
All right,
what's
guys,
going on?
But big news is we've officially launched with Stripe, which is huge. It's major. We've launched with Stripe, you guys. And so now we're able to help more people, and it's big news for Sunbit. A quote here from this article from FinTech Features. We had our VP of Platform Partnerships, Oded. He stated that achieving general availability with Stripe enables us to deliver financing that aligns with the way businesses operate. Together, we're empowering service businesses to grow revenue, increase access, offer more payment options with confidence. In addition to that, we were able to do a beta launch, and we partnered with a company, and they were able to increase their service and drive higher transaction values in the auto space. And in addition to that, you guys know we already partner with so many different businesses across the nation, whether that's in dental, auto, vet, home services. There's so many different integrations that we have too and platforms, but we're trusted by more than 40,000 face-to-face businesses nationwide. And with this launch, with this partnership, that's going to increase vastly. So we're super excited. And if you have Stripe or you've used Stripe, maybe you'll start to see us as a payment option within, the platforms. So really exciting. 20 points for Sunbit.
20 points for Sunbit. Okay. So when we think about this, it's kind of amazing because, one route is to, if you think about the business tools you're using in your practice, Sunbit could go to each and every one of them and try to partner with them individually. And that is something we've done. Like we integrate with Weave and a couple other platform partners. But Stripe is a massive payment processing company, and they exist in a lot of different tools in a lot of different industries.
Which answers Candy's question. So Candy, it's a payment processing platform.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Stripe powers the payment processing capabilities for a lot of vendors, a lot of merchants, large and small scale. And, I think here oftentimes we're asked about Sunbit is big in auto. What does that have to do with dental? And people often miss the point of what Sunbit is truly focused on. And that's illustrated right here, face-to-face businesses, local cornerstones of your community. We think dental care, car service, veterinary care, optical care, home services, right? That is what Sunbit is hyper focused on, is the face-to-face experience at the point of need. Really big news. So fun to share.
Yay, Sunbit.
What's happening with Sunbit and Stripe. Okay. Let's check out Candy. Bonus points for you being clueless. Candy. Oh, we love you. Oh, thank you so much. You're a delight. So today we're talking about cancellations and adjustments. Cancellations and adjustments. Jessica, will it affect our percentages?
What do you mean?
Oh, like, are we will a cancellation or adjustment affect your? Oh, the Stripe? No, not at all. Not at all. Stripe now is just making Sunbit more generally available to more businesses.
Yeah.
And more people have access to it. So you might have people asking for Sunbit by name as we start to see, our way of doing things pop up in more places, which is always pretty cool. So we share that with you because you are part of our early story. We're still a young company. So it's fun to see where this is all going and what we're doing. Okay. So, Queenita, first question. I'm gonna put you in the hot seat. Okay.
Oh
So the
yeah,
first question
cancellations and adjustments.
is, what's a cancellation? What is a cancellation?
Well, Adrian, cancellation is when a patient decides they no longer want to do the contract or the treatment or whatever it is that they signed up for. So we'll be able to do a full refund if they want to cancel the contract with Sunbit.
Rock on. Okay. So it's just canceling. Reverse. Whoops. We're gonna cross that one out.
Never mind.
So yeah. So what does this actually look like? So many of you, maybe some of you that do the accounting reconciliation for your practices, you know that we send you the funds minus our merchant fee for via ACH. So when we're doing a cancellation for the patient, we will do a reverse ACH. So we will then pull the funds that were deposited, and then those funds go right back to the patient's original payment method. Nice and simple, right? So everything just goes back. Everything just goes back. Some people have asked, what if Sunbit took a down payment? What does Sunbit keep that? No, right, Queenita?
Nope, we don't
Yeah,
keep
we don't do
that.
that.
All of it is fully refunded. ACH fee, Jessica?
Oh, no, all the fees are returned as well. So like including your merchant fee, which I know I'm getting ahead of myself. Hold on a second. First, let's just define what these things are. So we know what a cancellation is. So Queenita, what is an adjustment? What's the difference?
An adjustment is if the amount needs to be lowered. So maybe they were supposed to get like 5 different things done, but then they only ended up being able to get 3. Then you can reach out so that we can adjust the amount.
Nice. So in this case, what we're seeing with an adjustment, we're simply lowering the contract loan amount. You can't make it bigger, right? You can't like inflate the Sunbit because that would require a whole new Sunbit contract, right? A new set of approval terms.
Yeah.
So all we're really doing for the patient, the monthly payment number, the dollar amount doesn't change, just the number of payments gets reduced according to that new adjusted amount. Right. In fact, when this stuff happens, Queenita, you've trained our call center. I'm sure this comes up. Like, how do I know for sure that it went through? Like, am I supposed to get something?
Yeah, you'll definitely get emailed paperwork with the adjusted amounts. I don't want to get ahead of myself either because I know we're going to talk about follow up and
Yeah.
checking there. But yes, you will have that documentation.
Okay. So we understand the difference between cancellation and adjustment, but how do you request one of these?
I saw some stuff in chat too, so I'll touch on that as well. But
Ooh, should I go back? Should we go in there?
no, it ties into this. So the process to request one, we do ask that you email contractchanges@sunbit.com. It has to be you. It can't be the patient requesting to do a cancellation or adjustment. So we'll always make sure that you're approving it first. And that's why we need you to email us at contractchanges@sunbit.com. What I saw in the chat though, Adrian, was some folks have the option on their iPad from the hamburger menu. Some people do have the option to do a cancellation or adjustment straight from the iPad. So you might have that option, or you can always email us at contract changes.
Yeah, good eye. When we're looking at sending these emails, it's important to note that a patient cannot call our support team to request a cancellation or refund. We require merchant authorization. That means you. So you need to be the one to tell us what to do. That's why we don't do chargebacks. I know some other financing options, you do run into that issue. But here, Queenita, what happens actually if a patient calls our support team requesting a cancellation or refund? What does support do?
Yeah, we have a process in place to where if that's their first time calling about it, then we'll refer them back to you so that you can email us. We'll let them know you have to contact them. They'll email us the details we need. If we do see that they've called for this before, like maybe they called a week ago and they call us back letting us know that they have reached out and they haven't heard anything back, then at that point, we'll reach out to you to get more information and still get authorization before we do anything.
Yeah. So what does that email need to look like? Let's take a look. So first, we need to know the patient's name, and then we need to know what the Sunbit agreement number was. So at the end of a Sunbit transaction, we show you what the Sunbit agreement number was, and then you're also entering like a patient ID number, an invoice number, chart number, some sort of identifier. Whatever you're putting in at the end of a Sunbit, we need that too. And then the date that the Sunbit contract was finalized when you completed the transaction. And what was that original amount? And what's the adjustment and the new amount supposed to be? I know there was a question in the chat asking how long does it take to process? So once everything is initiated, it usually takes about 3 business days. And like when he was telling us, email updates go out to both you and the patient.
Yes.
When one of these happens. So we have a helpful QR code. We're going to leave that on the screen for a moment. And this is just what we had on the previous screen, just those pieces of
Nice
information.
little email.
Yeah.
So you guys
And
can
just
save
copy
it
and
as
paste.
a draft. You can save it as a draft in your inbox so that whenever you do need to do this, you already have a template ready to go that you can just fill in the information that's needed.
Someone was asking about, I don't know if it was Candy asking about whether or not doing a cancellation or a refund impacts your Elite Escape. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
That's a good question.
Yeah, that is a good question. I don't know how that impacts reporting actually, but definitely worth.
Oh, she
taking a
stumped
look
us.
at. Wait, what was that? Oh, she stumped us. Was it Candy? Hold on. Was it Candy who asked that?
I don't know.
Let's go double check.
it.
Yep, of course. Yeah, she's letting us know. So bonus points for Candy. Are you keeping track of these,
Queenita?
Queenita?
You still got your points. Woo!
All right.
Yay.
So let's recap what we were just going through. So cancellation is a full refund. We reverse everything. The adjustment is when you need to lower the contract, and we need an email from you. You can't do this over the phone. Even if you call, they're going to route you to send that email.
Yep.
So here's another. So Queenita, we also got to meet with Esther on our team because we have a whole team that handles this stuff, doing these adjustments and cancellations, and they review everything, make sure we're good. And we were asking her questions about this, and she shared with us a couple of tips and a couple of frequently asked questions that often come up that we thought might be helpful to share with you too. So it was Jessica asking, does a cancellation have to happen same day? No. In fact,
No.
What's interesting, we'll honor it whenever. Like it could be a year from now and you're trying to reconcile something with a patient and for some reason you need to do a full cancellation on the Sunbit. We'll honor it as long as it comes from you. So with us, people sometimes ask us like, what's Sunbit's refund policy? Our refund policy is your policy. You're the boss. So what's cool is that, Jessica, to answer your question, it can be anytime. It can be anytime.
If it does happen the same day, though, Jessica, you'll probably have a lot quicker turnaround time because usually on our end, it hasn't fully processed yet. So we can more easily revert the funds. So same day cancellations do process quicker.
Kiana Jackman helping out with a great segue because we're going to share with you some tips to help get ahead of any, buyer's remorse, things that will happen inevitably with financing, which some folks feel a bit, confused about certain things. So we're going to go through that. Now, one of the questions that did come up that Esther shared with us, why didn't the refund process right after I emailed? Like, what's the deal there?
Yeah, it's really important for you guys if you do request a cancellation or an adjustment to monitor your email afterwards because our team might need some clarification or additional information, and they're going to respond to your email asking for that. So keep an eye on your email. And remember, you'll also get notified when it processes. So check your email for any additional information that might be required or to confirm that it's processed.
Yeah. But what about the merchant fee that the practice pays? Like what happens with a cancellation or adjustment?
The merchant fee is fully refunded if you do a cancellation. And then, of course, if it's an adjustment, like you're lowering the cost of the loan, then the merchant fee is adjusted, obviously, because it's a lower amount. So it'll be adjusted along with that.
Nice. Shania asking in the chat, can we add an option for them to auto draft monthly payments to pay off the promo period? It is something that is being worked on. I believe in last week's episode, we covered the Sunbit app for patients. And they can easily go in there and do an entire payoff, make manual payments. But there is an update coming where they can do it auto. But in the meantime, they do have full control. And like Kiana brought up earlier, remind patients, there's no fees, no late fee, no prepayment penalties, none of that stuff. Yeah. Griselda asking, does Sunbit take away our points if a transaction is canceled? We're unsure.
Yeah, that's kind of related to Candy's question. So when it comes to points or like draw entries into the Elite Escape, we'll have to follow up with the team.
Yeah. And Shania, we hear you. Some people just want to be able to set it and forget it. Yeah. So that update is coming. All right. So one of the tips that Esther had was, a lot of our merchant partners could get ahead of it with a couple of things. So then it begs the question, well, first, let's try to understand, why would people want to cancel a Sunbit? So let's talk about this. And what we find with the cancellations that come through, number one, maybe they did a Sunbit for a future service, a future treatment. They no longer want it. Queenita, what's the recommendation there?
Yeah, this is a big one, you guys, especially in the dental space. When it comes to having someone apply for Sunbit, we highly recommend just using Sunbit for what's done today, because you never know what's going to happen the next week, couple weeks, month, if they're trying to schedule out for future services. Anything can happen. And so if you do a Sunbit and they have to pull back for whatever reason, then you'll have to cancel that or adjust it. So we recommend using Sunbit for the treatment that they need now or today.
Yeah, we understand, of course, there's plenty of scenarios in which you are, having recommended treatments, planned treatments, a schedule of treatment. We understand. So that's why we've tried to make the adjustment process as simple as possible, because we understand, like, life happens. Another reason people might cancel, Kiana was alluding to this earlier, they start to misunderstand the terms of the loan. Maybe now they're at home looking over things and they're a bit confused, and that confusion leads to fear. Queenita, what do we recommend there?
Walk them through, you guys. We'll talk more about this here in a moment, but really important for you guys to walk them through step by step and make sure they understand each step of the process before they agree to the terms.
Yeah. And then this other one here, sometimes people have buyer's remorse. They look at the APR, they panic, and now they want to cancel. But what do we do there?
We'll talk about the dollar amount, because sometimes percentages are scary, right? They see a 30% APR and after the fact, they're like, 30%, what was I thinking? Whereas we have things within the application process that helps explain that a little better and make it a little less scary.
Yeah. And in the chat, Erica asking, well, does the office get notified if a patient defaults on their loan? And Candy is correct. Candy says, I wouldn't think so, Erica. And that is correct. We don't notify you for a couple of reasons. Obviously, there's like a major privacy concern with customers, because this is a risk-free payment option for you and your practice, because we don't do chargebacks. All the risk is on us. If they default, that's our problem. That's not your problem, because that's now, that's why chargebacks are a bit of a bummer, right? Because it's like the financing company lent the money. Shouldn't the financing company be responsible for the payback and all that stuff? Because that's how we do it at Sunbit.
Yeah.
So we'll take care of it, but you don't get notified, A, for privacy, B, because it doesn't impact you whatsoever. There's not going to be a chargeback. Great question, though. Yeah. So let's take a look at some tips on how you can help showcase as much transparency as possible throughout the application process. And this is also why pre-qualification links are so helpful, because they can help curb a lot of those issues even earlier in the journey for patients. So let's dive deep into like how I would walk someone through a Sunbit. So let's take a look at we got a tablet here. And when we're looking at numbers, we could see up top how much they've been approved for, how much they need to use. We can also see how much they would have to pay today. So in this example, I can see, you got approved for $6,100, and we see that up at the top. And it looks like for this 48-month option, the amount due today is only $1. And it might be different for each of the monthly payment options. And when you get to the interest, this is an opportunity to showcase not just the percentage, but also the dollars and cents. What does that actually translate to? Because percentages are scary, and it can also be confusing. And to what Kiana was mentioning earlier in chat, this is also a good opportunity to remind people here at this step, when we're looking at monthly payment options, remind them that Sunbit has no fees, no late fees, no prepayment penalties, no account origination fees, none of that stuff. No fees at all. And APRs can be a bit confusing because they calculate differently based on the type of financing we're doing. So for example, Sunbit, what your technology provides is access to a simple interest installment loan, and that has a fixed rate. It's not going to change. It's locked in. However, with a credit card or a revolving line of credit, it usually has a variable rate, which means it could change. So if you're carrying a balance for, a long time, a couple of months, couple of years on a credit card, you might be paying more interest than had you just locked it in with a loan. So Queenita and I thought it might be kind of helpful to look at some examples of what a Sunbit would look like with different APRs. So we're going to look at an $800 Sunbit. We're going to presume 12-month payment plan, $100 due today. And we're going to see 3 different APRs for 10%, 20%, and 30% APR. Now, with 10% APR, that comes out to about $3.20 a month in interest. That's like a cup of coffee, Queenita? How much are a cup of coffee?
Cup of coffee. Well, I don't get a cup. I get like a jug. So I'm not a good explanation, but I'm sure just a regular, nice, small cup of coffee is $3.20 on average.
Yeah. Now with a 20% APR, that monthly interest comes out to about $6.51 a month. And I was checking this morning, the average price of a Big Mac in America right now is $6.72. And, and then when we look at a 30% APR, right? The higher end of the APR range is usually for, this is the one, 30 to 35. This is where most people are getting declined by other financing options, and we're able to support them. But it's a simple interest installment loan. And even with the 30% APR, that comes out to $9.90 a month in interest. Burritos, a good burrito nowadays, about $10. And and the reason we show this, all right, is because when you break it down into dollars and cents, it's relatable. It's easier to think of things in those terms. I can plan and budget more appropriately. Is getting the dental treatment today worth, a burger every month? Yeah. And is that worth giving you time and breathing room, right? That's what financing helps people do. So
also, you guys, on top of that, remember the APR is baked into the monthly payment. So when they see the APR, a good tip is to let them know, like, hey, these monthly payment options that you're seeing right now, it already has the interest baked into it each month. So it doesn't change. This is what your payment is. So that can also help them be a little more confident and less afraid of that APR.
Let's actually go back to the tablet and look at an example of a 35% APR, the highest end of the APR range. We're looking at an option here. It's $800, like we were just talking about. So now we're looking at the tablet. Treatment's $800. The amount due today is $240. Looks like monthly payment of $56.26. And then we see the interest. It's 35.91%, but it's $9.56 a month in interest. So
Burrito.
Like Queenita was saying, right? So like Queenita was saying, that $56.26 already has the monthly interest baked into it. That's why when you pay it off early, you pay less interest. Simple interest installment loans. That's how they work, right? So takeaways from today. If you need help with any of this stuff, to do a cancellation or an adjustment, reach out to contractchanges@sunbit.com. And if you're sending patients to us directly to handle it, we're going to send them back to you. So, we want to provide a good experience for everyone. Just let us know what we need to do for you, and we'll let you handle the relationship with your patients there for how you want to best navigate that. Good stuff. Oh, we're right at the end of time. Do we got time to go into Q&A real quick? I see there were some questions piling up.
Yeah. I saw the first 2 we answered about how does the cancellation affect them and the entries, but I didn't see the other ones.
Nice.
The patient needs to change debit cards. Do we need to cancel the contract and set up a new contract?
Ooh, not at all. No, Lisa. Oh,
Yeah.
that's easy. We can do that over the phone. The patient can do it on their own. Last week's
Yeah.
episode, we talked about the Sunbit app for patients, and they can do it there. They can update their debit card. They can even change their due date and manage
Or even
multiple payment
switch it
plans.
to a checking account. So they can do
Oh,
it in the app.
right. There was balance checks. If you link your bank account, and the system will let you know if there's not enough funds to cover it before they try pulling the payment, so that people can avoid any fees with their banks and stuff. So Lisa, yeah, you don't have to do a new Sunbit. We can easily change that over the phone, or they can do it through our website or Sunbit app. Nice. Haley asking, our office has a new updated Sunbit. I've noticed that the patient will get 12 months interest free, but her payment options are 18, 24, and 36 months. There's no way for her to choose 12 months. When we called Sunbit to ask if she could adjust her monthly payments to more, but they said no. So you're on the newest version of Sunbit. So that 12 months, 0% promotional period is available no matter what payment option is selected. And this is actually developed in response to a lot of our practices on the previous program that said, people really like the 12 months, 0%. But they didn't like locking it in. They wanted to be able to fall back on a longer plan just in case, and then have the option to pay it off in 12 if they wanted to. So that's one of the big reasons this new update has been rolling into a lot of practices. I know some of you have reported to us, it's been a bit of an adjustment, having to help patients. And I know we had that question come up earlier about making it easier for folks to auto set their payments to a specific amount. But we appreciate all of you that are rolling out with these new updates as they're happening and providing feedback. It's really important for all of us to stay connected and continue to improve as we push forward. But it's one of those things where we hope that our success team can provide you some reprieve with additional training, insights, marketing materials, anything that may help you with your patients. But thanks for sharing that feedback. But,
Oh, wait, there was
I
one
missed?
more.
Oh.
We had a patient say that their link was going to expire and they were told they couldn't reapply. We assured her that she could, but she was adamant. Is there anything you could recommend to show her? So Vivica, the approvals are valid for 28 days. So if she applied and it's like within that 28 days, she has that approval that she can use, if that answers your question.
Yeah. But let's also clarify the link real quick. Now, there's hypothetically two links you can send. There's pre-qualification. That link never expires. A lot of you use it for marketing purposes. People can bookmark the pre-qualification link. But like Queenita said, the approval is only valid for 28 days. However, there's also the checkout link. And a checkout link will expire after 7 days because there's a dollar amount and a transaction ID attached to it. And, merchants don't want checkout links just floating out there for months and months and months. So there is a distinction there. So if we're talking about a checkout link, they do expire, but you can resend them from the dashboard anytime or the iPad. Pre-qualification doesn't expire. Those links live on and can be used for marketing. Vivica, we do have a really wonderful customer FAQ on our website if you want to check it out at sunbit.com. And we do have a lot of that information there as well. But the best way is, seeing is believing. Share the link again and just have her fire it up. Just share your pre-qualification link. Have her fire it up, especially if she's with you and you can have her do it on her phone, and just show her, anytime you need this, fire it up. Your approval today is one thing. Your approval a year from now may be something different. So it's always nice to check in. Yeah. Boy, how are we doing? Lots of good questions coming in. I'm barely keeping up the chat.
Tristan asked a question about how do you make sure you pay it off within the 0% promo. Definitely suggest I recommend using the Sunbit app. They can hop on the Sunbit app and make additional payments or more payments at any time. So until the feature is updated where you can set automatic payments for a different amount than your monthly payment. But for now, jump in there to monitor it and make more payments.
Patients are also receiving automated email reminders from Sunbit as well regarding those promotional periods, giving them opportunities to log into their account, make early payments, or do the payoff as they get closer to the last 30 days. But
I know
great
we're at
questions.
time, but last thing, you guys, if you're not getting points from attending Sunbeast Live, then reach out to SB support at sunbit.com to let them know. You should be getting them we send them to the email and the name that you used when you registered. So that's how we tie you to your account and your points. So
Yeah.
yes, if you're not getting it, then we might need to change that email or
just
whatever the case may be.
Yeah, make sure you're registering and joining through Zoom events using the same email address as your Sunbeast mobile app. That's how you make sure you get points. And for those of you that are able to join us, we'll be dropping the link tree in a little bit. This is actually a good segue into the next upcoming episodes that we have for Sunbit. Last week, we focused on the Sunbit app for patients, and we're really excited. Next week, we're going to be focusing on your Sunbeast app. In fact, I'm heading to our headquarters in Los Angeles tomorrow to meet with the Sunbeast team and learn about all the latest updates and news I can share with you and the group next week. Queenita and I have also seen a sneak peek at the next generation of the Sunbeast app and the next generation of the rewards system. It's very exciting. But yeah, we're going to have a whole session dedicated to the Sunbeast app, and then on May 13th, we are joined by Shani Solomon, a Sunbit coach, one of the best here at Sunbit. And recently we saw some of her, she did these clips, these educational clips, and they were amazing. And we just had to have her on the show. So we're really excited for that one. And then May 20th, overcoming the fear of offering Sunbit. We're going back to basics with how to offer, and we're going to be pulling the audience for a lot of your insights and best practices for that one too. So be sure to join us. And if you're unable to join us live on Zoom events, you can always catch episodes simulcast on YouTube. You can also find them posted to Spotify the same afternoon. I just dropped the link tree in the chat for everybody. You can also catch Queenita Sun Clips on YouTube Shorts and your Sunbeast mobile app for quiz points and more. But Queenita, did I miss anything?
Nope, you did a wonderful job, Adrian, per usual.
So did you.
But hopefully you guys learned a couple things today. Thanks for hanging back a little extra for us. Hope we were able to answer your questions. Otherwise, we will see you next week to dive into the Sunbeast stuff.
From all of us at Sunbit, thanks for being part of the Sunbeast community. Thanks for continuing your education with us on Wednesdays, and hopefully we'll see you at the next one. Take care, everybody, while we dance this one out.